My name is Pat Coe and I'm one of the Deputy Principals at Yeppoon State High. Today I get the opportunity to talk to you about the Queensland Certificate of Education, the QCE. I'll also briefly touch on the Queensland Certificate of Individual Achievement, the QCIA, as well as go through what the requirements are to be ATAR eligible. I know that at this time when we're starting to look through our subjects in preparation for grade 11 and 12, many questions are being asked in regards to these things. Hopefully by going through these examples, you'll have a better understanding of what the requirements are as you transition into grade 11 and 12. At Yeppoon State High, it is our goal that 100% of students graduate with either the Queensland Certificate of Education or the Queensland Certificate of Individual Achievement. Whilst the majority of our students work towards the QCE, a small number of students work towards the QCIA. Those are students who have traditionally been on an individual learning program in the junior school. In order to be successful in achieving the QCE, students must meet all of the requirements. If a student lacks in one area, for instance, not achieving 20 credit points, but meets the other requirements, the student will not be successful in achieving their QCE. I'll now take a few minutes to go through and explain the different requirements of the QCE, and then we'll practice some examples. The first requirement of the QCE is to achieve at least 20 QCE credit points. You can achieve a QCE credit point by achieving a passing grade in a unit of work. Each subject generally consists of 4 units, which means that there are 4 QCE credit points that a student can achieve for each subject. There are some exceptions to this. This table lists all the subjects that are available for students in Year 11 and 12 at Yeppoon State High School. In the brackets, it indicates how many QCE credit points a student can achieve if they pass all parts of the course. You'll see that in each general and applied subject, a student can achieve at least 4 QCE credit points. However, with the certificate courses, some certificate courses, students can achieve more than 4 QCE credit points, such as Cert 3 Fitness, Cert 3 Health Services Assistance. The next aspect of the QCE is that students must achieve 12 credit points by completing core courses. That essentially means that students must complete 3 subjects the whole way through grade 11 and 12 and achieve a passing grade in each unit. So for instance, a student might complete biology, music and drama in grade 11 and grade 12, achieve a passing grade in all of those units, and therefore they've met the requirement of this completed core. The most important thing to think about in order to achieve this aspect of the QCE is that students must make good subject selection at the end of grade 10. In order to assist our students to make good subject selection in grade 11 and 12, our staff have identified through historical data that students in our general subjects must be meeting certain prerequisites in grade 10 learning in order to be successful in these courses in grade 11 and 12. A number of the subjects have identified that students must meet a passing grade in that area and English in order to be able to meet the requirements and demands of those subjects. In addition to considering the prerequisites for courses, it is highly encouraged that students have studied the equivalent course in Year 9 and 10 to provide some foundational knowledge to ensure that students are successful when they enter the subject in Year 11. In addition to the set pattern, students must also meet the literacy and numeracy requirement for the QCE. Students must achieve a passing grade in at least Unit 1 or 2, or a passing grade in Unit 3 and 4, which are combined, in English and Maths. Now that you have a bit of an understanding about the requirements of the QCE, let's have a look at a few examples. Now we're going to look through some different scenarios to see if students have met the requirements of the QCE. The left-hand side indicates the subject that the student has studied. In regards to the units studied, if a student has received a U, as in this example, for English for Unit 1, that means that they were unsatisfactory in meeting the requirements of the course, and therefore do not receive 1 QCE credit point. On the other hand, if a student receives an S, that means that they satisfactorily met the requirements of the course and receive a QCE credit point. You'll see that Unit 3 and 4 are combined, and a student will receive a grade for those combined courses. If a student receives an A, B or C, then they will get 2 QCE credit points. If a student receives a D or an E or an N, then the student will receive 0 QCE credit points. The final column, QCE credits, indicates the total number of QCE credits that student has achieved for that course. And you can see down the bottom, it indicates the total number of QCE credits that student has achieved over year 11 and 12. In this first example, Ben has studied general maths, English, biology, music, Japanese and Cert 3 fitness for year 11 and year 12 without making any subject changes. You can see he's received a passing grade for all English courses, all maths courses, all biology courses and music. In Japanese, he received an unsatisfactory for Unit 1, but then passed Unit 2 and 3 and 4, and as a result has received 3 credits for Japanese. Ben has also met the requirements for the Cert 3 fitness and achieved 8 QCE credit points. This gives him a total of 27 QCE credit points. Remember, the magic number is that students must achieve at least 20 QCE credit points. He has met the literacy requirement because he's passed at least 1 unit of English. He's met the numeracy requirement because he's passed at least 1 unit of general maths. And he's met the completed core requirement of staying in 3 subjects the whole way through grade 11 and 12 and passing each subject, each unit. Therefore, in this example, Ben has been successful in achieving his QCE. In the second example, Jill has studied the same subjects as Ben in example 1. Pause the video and see if you can calculate if Jill has been successful in achieving her QCE. If you have a look at Jill's results, she's received a satisfactory for Unit 1 and 2 and passed Unit 3 of General Maths. That means she has achieved 4 QCE credit points. For English, she was unsatisfactory in meeting the requirements of Unit 1 and 2 and Unit 3 and 4. So out of a possible 4 QCE credit points, Jill has received 0 for English. She achieves 4 QCE credit points for biology, passing Unit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Same for music and Japanese, and has achieved 8 QCE credit points for the Cert 3 fitness. Jill did not meet the literacy requirement of the QCE, as she did not pass English in Unit 1, Unit 2 or Unit 3 and 4. She did meet the numeracy requirement as she passed at least 1 unit in maths. She received 24 credit points and completed 3 subjects the whole way through grade 11 and 12 and passed those subjects. However, unfortunately, because she did not meet one aspect of the QCE, the literacy requirement, is meant that Jill, in this case, has not been successful in achieving her QCE. Let's have a look at just one more example of a scenario of a student in grade 11 and 12 to see if they will meet the requirements for the QCE. In this case, James chose English, General Maths, Modern History, Physics, Legal Studies and Drama in Year 11, but then failed these subjects of Modern History, Physics, Legal Studies and Drama at the end of Unit 1. As a result, he's made a number of subject changes. See if you can tally up and figure out how many QCE credit points James will achieve, and then if he will meet the requirements for the QCE. Remember that in order to successfully achieve the QCE, students must meet each aspect of the QCE. In this example, James achieved 4 QCE credit points for English, 4 QCE credit points for Maths, 0 for Modern History, 3 for Social and Community Studies, 0 for Physics, 3 for Aquatic Practices, 0 for Legal Studies, 3 for Recreation, 0 for Drama, and 3 for Visual Arts and Practice, which gives him a total of 20 credit points. Has James met the literacy requirement? Yes, because he received a passing grade in at least one unit of English. For maths, he has met the numeracy requirement because he's received at least a satisfactory or a pass in at least one unit of maths. He has met the 20 QCE credit points when you tally up the credits he's achieved across his subjects. If you have a look at completed core, James has not completed 3 subjects the whole way through Year 11 and 12 and achieved a passing grade in each unit. Therefore, James has not met the QCE. If James made better subject choices at the end of grade 10 in preparation for grade 11, he might have achieved the QCE. There are a few key messages to be taken away from these examples. The first one is to make very good subject selection at the end of grade 10 going into grade 11. By doing so, hopefully it means that you don't need to change any subjects throughout grade 11 and 12, and you give yourself the best chance of achieving the completed core requirement of the QCE. In addition to this, making sure that you choose an appropriate English and maths level course is also very important to meet the literacy and numeracy requirements. Now we've spoken about the QCE, let's quickly talk about ATAR. ATAR stands for Australian Tertiary Admission Rank, and it's a ranking system that is used to get into university or tertiary education. The ATAR has certain requirements as well. In order to be eligible for an ATAR, students must study and complete at least 4 general subjects. The ATAR will be calculated on a student's best 5 general subjects, or a student's best 4 general subjects and an applied subject, or a student's best 4 general subjects and 1 certificate 3 or 4 course. The ATAR will be the fastest way a student can enter university after finishing grade 12. Yes, the ATAR is the fastest and most direct route going from finishing year 11 and 12 and going into tertiary study. For students who don't achieve an ATAR, that does not mean that tertiary education is off the cards for you. There are multiple ways of entering into tertiary education, and ATAR is only one of those. Hopefully, from watching this video and going through some different examples, it's given you a better understanding of the requirements of the Queensland Certificate of Education and also the ATAR. Again, if you have any questions, please remember I'm only a phone call or an email away. Please don't hesitate to get in contact.